As they say, let's not pull the cat by its tail and the cheating man by the same tail. I give you data of the surveys of cheating husbands that we conducted ourselves for many years. If you take 3,000 surveyed men for 100% of men, they say the following about the reasons for cheating. 60% of men just want a dirty little adventure, a bright and cheerful affair, an interest in sex with a new partner, all old but well-tested acquaintance. It will give a pleasant emotional shake and will be nice to remember about. 15% of men aspire to possess such a spectacular and prestigious mistress who will cause envy in the social circle and will keep a man company when he spends his leisure time. We are moving on, but before we do, like the video and subscribe. It's important to us. 15% of men expect that their partners will help them to improve their existing living situation, like housing, social circle, and their career, as if they are locomotives that will pull them out of the metaphorical pit. Simply saying, will fix their life. Mercantile motives of such not the most successful men are usually covered by the classic phrase, I want to meet the one who will understand me better than my wife. 10% of men want to have children that their wives refuse to give them, or want to have more children if they already have some. As you can see, at the start of infidelity, not even 1% of husbands say that they go into dating or have sexual contact for the sake of starting a new family. Up to a certain point, no one wants that. By the way, you can share your opinion on this topic in the comments. Well, while you're leaving a comment, we'll go further. Realistically saying, 75% of men just want sex, preferably with someone who is prettier and sexier than their wife. But if a lady agrees to have sex with a man without him needing to invest efforts, time and money, he can have sex with anyone, even with women inferior to his wife. 15% of men either sell themselves to smarter, more successful or wealthy women, or go for sex with a woman they respect as a colleague or business partner, someone who is useful to that man in his life and work. Even those 10% of men who claim to have deep, meaningful reason to cheat on their wife with the woman who will give birth to the children, or at least the first child, are actually lying, because at the beginning of communication they still seek just sex and pleasant leisure time, or cannot resist the banal desire, as they usually say themselves, I want to hang out with a beautiful girl without any second thoughts. Calling things by the proper name, we have to admit, 3/4 of husbands who commit adultery just want sex and self-gratification through sex. This will be the case even if men give you other well-thought and very plausible reasons. This will be the case even if men will convince you that when they started this or that relationships on the side, they didn't want anything like that and don't know how it happened. This will be the case even if men will swear to you that they own existing wives at home much more beautiful and sexy than the girls they date on the side, which makes it even more incomprehensible for them why do they cheat. Do you agree with that? No? Run to the comments to share your opinion, we are waiting for you. Why do husbands cheat? Reason number 1, not enough sex. For example, less than 2 or 3 intimate contacts per week. Or wife is against variety in the bedroom life, such as stockings, dildos, erotic movies, outdoor sex, etc. Reason number 2. Wife becomes physically less attractive to husband. Reason number 3. His significant other doesn't fit housewife role. The husband has nothing to eat, the dishes are unwashed, the house is dirty, etc. Reason number 4. Because of accumulated fatigue due to unresolved financial and family problems. Simply put, there are no household conditions for regular and interesting intimate life. There are children or parents in the next room, and so on. Reason number 5. Passivity of the wife in the matters of rest and leisure. For example, she refuses to communicate with family friends. Reason number 6. Direct conflicts between spouses, after which it's very difficult to talk about intimate life. Conflict and resentfulness of the husband and wife. One of the spouses feels being unappreciated or used. Reason number 7. Excessive interference in the family affairs of relatives of husband or wife. It causes alienation in the couple's relationship. Reason number 8. Extreme workaholism and careerism of husband, sometimes wife, when the spouses don't see each other for ages. Sexual hunger is then satisfied during work hours with the person who is easier to meet in the office with. Reason number 9. Because of the syndrome of excessive motherhood, when a wife who has given birth to a child basically stops showing interest in her husband's life, focusing on the child only. For example, breastfeeding after the child turns 3, sleeping with the child until they're 7 to 10, etc. Reason number 10. General loss of interest towards husband life for a variety of reasons. Wife starts a career, she never loved her husband and married simply because it was necessary, a shotgun marriage. The husband for some reason lost his status in wife's eyes, the wife herself has a lover, the wife lost libido, etc. After that, wife is frankly uninterested in her husband's life, and this creates optimal conditions for cheating. Whatever the reason for cheating husband names, the problem with the lack of sex is almost always primary. This topic is stigmatized due to the fact that it's shameful to admit it. After all, when the situation comes to the point of leaving the family, a cheating man is forced to explain what is happening retrospectively, adjusting the entire previous family history to the fact that he's already on the doorstep with a suitcase in his hands. Of course, a man who leaves to live with his mistress or who is simply kicked out by his wife due to moral circumstances and his ego cannot honestly admit that everything turned out like this because of his stupid and ill-considered sex drive. Therefore, in the heat of an altercation with his wife or in conversation with relatives and friends, the unfaithful husband is forced to say something like, "She does not understand me at all. I have nothing to talk to her about. She's a bad wife and mother. Our house is always a mess and nothing to eat. She's bad in bed," etc., etc. But most of the claims and arguments of such husbands will be a lie. After all, husband stayed with his wife despite all the cons for many years, and her wrongs did not motivate him to leave the family and divorce, until someone dragged him out of the family holding his hand, or rather, completely different part of his body. The husband's words that he waited until the children grew up are also often far-fetched. After all, except for these cases when the husband leaves the family when the children are already over 18 years old, the children abandoned by the husband clearly need care, but this still does not stop the departing husband. This is why I fundamentally believe that all the supposedly serious claims of husbands to the wives whom this man once married of their own free will are in fact nothing more than prerequisites, which could have existed for many years and decades and not led to divorce at all if another woman had not appeared in the life of this husband. With the appearance of new woman, wife turned out to be or seemed problematic. This new woman showed a clear example of ideal wife, or created the illusion that the man would be comfortable with her. This is when not only the sexual bomb explodes at the man's head, but also all other bombs: kitchen, routine, emotions, children, etc. Obviously, when the living husband talks about his thoughts to his wife, you need to understand that there is not only the wife's fault, but also the obvious success of completely different woman, a result of your hidden but systemic work. So we came to the main conclusion, which has long been known to mankind, but which, in practice, for some reason, everyone forgets. Behind the husband's betrayal, him leaving the family and divorce, there is always another woman. We understand that this conclusion is difficult to accept. Here are the reasons. It is offensive for adult man to admit that he is a puppet, obediently controlled by experienced hand, submissively going where another woman leads him. It is unpleasant for a wife to realize that her husband has someone better than herself. This is doubly unpleasant if the homewrecker is noticeably younger and more beautiful. It is triply unpleasant if the homewrecker is noticeably older and uglier. It is infinite times more unpleasant if the husband already has an illegitimate child or the mistress has her own children. It is especially painful if the wife herself once stole this man from someone else. It is unpleasant for the mistress herself to realize that she is the culprit of the drama in the life of another woman, so she conceives herself that everything was bad between them even before me, otherwise he would not have entered into a relationship with me. I am absolutely not to blame for this. I myself am a victim of this man. It is unpleasant for the man's mother to realize that her son is not respecting his decision and choose to lose his current wife and his own children. For this reason, people rarely take the blame. In a situation of vicious circle where no one can understand their motives and logically explain where it all started, where everyone points finger at each other, most often the culprit is either the overly unrestrained husband or love magic, a love spell which was allegedly carried out by either the mistress or her mother or mother-in-law or grandmother. This is exactly what psychics and magicians skillfully play on. When wives and husbands come to them, declare that it's a result of someone else's magic, that it's the notorious jinx, the evil eye, and all sorts of other mystical and scary things are to blame for everything. In fact, everything is absolutely simple. Let me remind you that the instinct of procreation is rightfully called the main one. This means that the possibility of having intimate contact with a person who seems to be the best option for a sexual partner and the second parent for a possible future child is always a priority compared to any job, educational or other responsibilities of a person, especially if person has consumed alcohol and the level of his self-control has noticeably decreased. Here biology will take over in full force. So I will remind you of what was already said above. A man who thought that a certain girl would not mind talking to him and sleeping with him doesn't have the opportunities to stop himself. He can't, because otherwise the overly prudent human race would simply die out. And now subscribe to our channel and like this video, because later we will post even more useful information for you all.